What's up, buddy?
I know, but
Pretty good. Ready for training today.
I know, right?
John coming on. And Joe be on. Waldo's going to be a little bit late, but he'll be on, which is fine because for the first 20 minutes today before Brian starts your guys' battery training, I want to make sure you guys are all getting logged in to your emails and stuff.
Yeah, I got the notification today for my email.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and get those set up. Did you set up your password yet?
Not yet.
Let's go ahead and do that because I'm going to have you guys try to log into your CRM too.
All right.
John, Christina, did you guys get your emails?
Yes.
I believe so. Yes, I think I got it last night.
Should come through right now. We just set them up about an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
Let's get you guys logged in now. Just set up your passwords and then
Okay.
then you guys will be able to just go log into the Gmail app just like you would a normal Gmail. You just put your whole company email in there. So you'll have the @TitanSPP and you just log in with whatever password you set up and you always have access to your company emails. And same thing with Google Calendar. You just go to calendars.google.com, just be logged into your work email and you'll have a calendar. That's where all of our invites will communicate through your guys' company emails from this day forward. And so so Jeremy is going to be catching up on the videos. And then Ubaldo's going to be a little bit late.
He says, "That shall not be overcome." The nearest India has never eaten treatment for those kids. And the more treatment record we have for her, during she's after the attack. Let myself in it. I wanted her to survive. I wanted her pain to vanish from her. She knew that. She lives and breathes to please others. I want Dr. Turner to see her. He wanted to be
I'm in on mine.
Awesome. So do you see an email from Jerry? That's going to be for your Sunbase.
That was the milk. Breakfast has been impossible. But even touch it doesn't do.
And you guys will log into Sunbase from
Expecting a baby.
So, little quick training on Sunbase. And then I'm going to let Brian take over. Let you guys all see it. There he is. Sunbasedata.com. And if you guys go to the app Sunbase Data in your app stores, just has a little yellow sun. That's going to be our CRM. Give you guys a little bit of a rundown about how it looks, what we're doing. So I'm logged in for your guys' team. So that's good. So let's screen share and I'll show you guys what we're doing. So while you guys get your Sunbases open and downloaded, once you log into your company email, should have been sent out already. You'll be able to, you'll see an email from Jared that's going to have your username and password for Sunbase. Log into Sunbase on the web on the web portal, and you guys will see it like this. So just on your Group Me or something like that, and you guys will see it. Talking about quail eggs. And it'll open up to something like this. Your guys' will be blank. This is just our team stuff. Show you guys a little bit about how to use it. And what we're looking at. So you guys will see a lot less on this than I see. So let me see if I can mimic one of you guys. All right, so here's what your guys is going to look like. It'll open up to the sales funnel. It'll say 0 leads, 0 appointments, 0 new sales, and no kilowatt sold because you guys haven't sold anything yet, right? You'll have a bunch of tools on the left-hand side, your calendars, your productions, all that great stuff. When you guys see the job board, this is where your job board will be. This is where your sales will go. So you guys can see what stage they're in, okay? Your customers will see something fairly similar on their end, and I'll show you what they see. Your calendars will show you what your appointments are going to look like for the week. This is what you guys look like for the week. And then your sales board, which has your CRM and your canvassing tools and these good stuff. So our canvassing tool, when you guys are out on the doors, you guys will have access to drop pins on every single house that you knock on. So you know what happened, where it happened, and all that good stuff. So where am I at? This is a cool neighborhood, dude. This is gold. Leighton, you're going to be making some money. Jesus. You see that, Brian?
It's all blue sky right there.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Open fairway.
I love it. I want to go knock. Where you at? Go knock out like 20 deals in a day over there. Woo. Okay, cool. So let's say I start knocking here at this house right here, and nobody was home. So I'm going to click the not home. It's going to be very similar inside of your app. We're going to go over the app tomorrow. I click the not home button, and I just click the top of the roof. If I click on it again, I can edit the record, and you can see I can put some notes in there if I wanted to. So let's say that, you know, I saw a green car in the driveway. And there was a no answer. I could save it. And then later when I go look at that house, I could take a look. You're like, oh, well, there was a green car in the driveway, but now there's a red truck. And this time they answered, right? And then you could change the pin from not home to set to interested, new lead, not interested, has solar, renter, whatever the case may be. Okay. So let me delete that pin. And then let's say we set an appointment. I click set. I went to next door and I got a set. I can put in the first name. So this is Bobby Test. Set to there, the sales rep. I'm going to put as myself. Email address. Put in the customer's email. And the phone number. And then I can save it. I can click on it, edit the record, and say I want to see more stuff in here. If I want to attach a copy of the bill, I can click attach, or I can just open the actual lead itself. And now I have access to all of his stuff. If it was a referral, if I don't get the utility information, we'll learn more about that today. What do I do if I didn't get the utility bill? What do? I put some information in there. I could put some notes in right here about the appointment set. I can go to my notes section here and add additional notes to the system. You can tag people in it. So here, if I wanted to tag Brian, at Brian. I'm testing my notes. Click save. And now Brian's going to get an email and he's going to get an alert from his app letting him know he got tagged in an appointment or tagged in a prospect. Okay. Lead identifier, you guys can leave that alone. Set the appointment time and date right here. It'll pop up on your calendar and it will automatically send them an email, as you guys will be able to see here in a second. It'll send them an email letting them know that you have set the appointment and there's a spot where they can upload their utility bill if they didn't have it right there when you knocked on the door. Okay, so if I set this one to set, click save. I go to contact history. It's not saving. There we go, contact history. You can see it came out that there was a contact out there. Okay. What that's going to send, let me show you guys without showing you my entire inbox.
It looks a little different on the phone than it does on a computer, correct?
It looks a lot different on the phone. I'll show you guys the phone one tomorrow.
Yeah, because I was just looking at mine and it looks totally different.
Yeah. The phone is going to be for when you're in field. This is going to be for more when you're sitting at your desk. Things like that. Okay.
Yeah, because I was looking for that map. I was like, wait, I don't see that at all.
Yep. It's still under canvassing though. So if you click on the CRM or on sales, you click on canvassing, it'll pop up just like that. This part will just be on the bottom of the screen.
Chris, I'm not seeing an email like with my new email address
Google
in there. I don't think I got that. I don't see one from today. Actually, hold on. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, cool. So there's that. Then you got your calendars, your production. The big thing you guys are going to be doing on here, you have access to your support library. So if you guys take a look at the reference library right here under support and help, that's not available on the app. It's only available on the browser. So is the learn. You have band messaging, equipment specs, spec sheets, finance information. This is under construction. Right now, we do have sample contracts. You have access to the actual training decks and the sales materials. Under the sales materials, there we go. You have approved ads, you have approved logos, approved videos, the cheat sheet. So this is going to be your guys's, all your definitions from yesterday under the cheat sheet. Those last definitions that we went over at the end of the day. Sales funnels, and then you got your scripts. So under the scripts, you have the 5 steps to success is what we're going to be learning today. Dirty dozen, we're adding out to these. They're more just ways to overcome big objections inside the home. Lead qualifying scripts, so if you're doing a lot of phone stuff. And then my favorite, the 99 sales clinchers. So 99 sales clinchers are terms and things that are used inside the home that you turn into a question to help get buying answers from your customers. So things like with the amount of money you pay every month, you should have access to tools to help you control your energy usage. Don't you agree? So that would be like the curb monitoring that we offer. You need your AC to run, your washing machine to clean, right? So whether you get solar or not, the bill isn't going to go away, is it? Nope. Can you see how not having solar is going to cost you more money? Yep. When you buy something, do you buy it to pay until you die or with the intent to own it? Right. So this is like that, well, what I don't know about solar. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Right. If there was a way to save money every month while eliminating energy dependence, you'd start saving today, wouldn't you? So there's just 99 sales clinchers, things that help you when you're inside the home, get more buying answers from customers. The price of your solar system will soon be forgotten, but the benefits of its use will last for years to come. Isn't that so? They're just nice statements you could turn into questions for the customer. So those are there. We're going to go through more of those during advanced sales trainings. And then under video library, you have some really cool stuff too. So the Q2 incentive, that's there. Behind the scenes of an install, you guys can pull this up and show a customer if they want to see what it looks like. You guys get to see a real life install. Then moving the tile, getting it underneath. So the things that you guys learned yesterday about the actual installation and the what a racking system was like. How to update your digital business card, the ITC recap, which we'll be doing tomorrow. Bill example review, which we'll be doing tomorrow, actually maybe even later today. Update your app profile, a proposal example of a proposal given by me, and then navigating the actual proposal itself delivered by Brian. then the full Q2 incentive with the Q1 recap. So these are all available to you guys as of right now. Then under the learn. So when you guys go to take your certification Friday night or Saturday or this weekend, it's under learn right above the log off button. And you click on there and you'll see the bill review and the TSPP solar certification. You don't take these until I tell you guys to on Friday night, or you guys can take them all over the weekend. Okay. Now the app is a little bit different. So I'm going to show you guys the app. We got time. And then Brian's going to jump in and take over some stuff. New share, cord. And we're going to click on Sun-based data. When you log in here, you have a little menu button down here at the bottom. Okay, so you can search for your customers by clicking on the search, see your notifications if you have any, or click the menu button right there. Under menu, you have your sales. So you can see your leads, your opportunities, your customers. You can manage them all. Or you can go to canvassing. Leaderboard's still being built out, so it's not active right now, but we're still building that out. But under canvassing, it's going to drop you exactly where you are in your location. So if I came over here, so you guys can see, I got a couple of test pins right over here. When I click a set on an appointment, I click the set first, then I click the roof of the house. It's going to open up a new screen. So I'm going to put in Jane test. It's going to be set 520-975-9575. Chris at titanspp.com. Assigned to me. And the appointment time we'll do tomorrow at done. Let's do 4 o'clock. Done. Notes. Customer didn't have bill. Got usage average. High 180, low 100, average 150. Done. Now I'm going to click save and it's going to close me out of this screen. When I click the pin again, I can open lead or edit record. I want to open the lead. And you have access to see everything that's available right here, just like you were seeing on the other screen. You see my appointments, they saved right there, all my notes from the original appointment. They don't transfer to the notes, and I'll show you that. I got the average electric, so I'll put 150. And then let's say I was talking to them, found out that they're adding an electric car and they're building a pool. And I found that out. So I can put that in there as well, so I remember. And then I can click the little save icon down there, click save and stay, and it doesn't close me out. Under attachments, I can click the little add button right here. This is going to get smoother as we go and a lot cleaner of a design. Click the plus button in the top right hand corner, click photo, and I can do single, name it. So I'll name this utility bill. Select the type, utility bill, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it for my camera. Use, add, and it's uploaded. Now I can go back up on the top. This slides. When you have a task list on a customer, when you sell them, it'll be right there. If I want to see the contact history, it'll be right here. If I want to see notes, my notes will all be right here. If I want to see actions, I can see actions right here. Okay. So if you guys wanted to send a campaign to a customer, you can actually send a campaign right here. So this one set with utility bill request, because for some reason I didn't send. I click send. I go to my contact history, refresh, and you guys can see it's sent the actual campaign. Okay. And then I can go back. It's going to automatically send out to the customer as soon as I press save. So let me see if I can delete the lead. Boom. Boom. Now, the other things we can do in there, we can see our calendars, we can see our day, we can see our tasks, and we can see our own metrics by clicking on those buttons. But that's pretty much the biggest part about what we're looking at. Everything else we're going to learn more about in detail later this week. But I want to make sure you guys saw those basic core functions of what you're going to be doing. Because you guys do have access to your document libraries today, but you can only get that through a normal web browser. You can't get that on the app. Okay. With that said, I don't know. I think Brian might be ready right about now. Feel free to hop on when you're free, Brian. You good? All right. I'm going to let him introduce himself. I'm going to toss over control to him, and he's going to start training with you guys, and I'm going to pick up when he's done. So have fun. Talk to you guys in about, I don't know, 30 minutes or so.
Yep. And let's see, end of day 2, right? On
Yeah, battery.
Yep. Cool. Let me get that pulled up here. Well, while that's opening, everybody, good to meet you all. I know some of you are already, but for those that you don't know me, again, my name's Brian. I'm one of the founders here, and love to meet all of our new training classes, and also love to play a part in the training too. And as you could see from Chris's run through already, we like to be super detailed on what we start to give up front for info. And I don't know, I tend to geek out on some of the tech stuff here, so I'll go through that aspect. But I am just trying to get PowerPoint pulled up for me. One moment. Cool. All right. And I can run through things. Again, we'll get into some of these details, but feel free as we go through, definitely let me know of any questions that you've got as we're going over it. But before we dive into it, can I just get a quick round of intros? Stephen and I have already talked, as have Joseph and I, but John, Christina, well, Leighton, we've talked as well. John and Christina, I have not met you yet. So John, can you give me a quick intro of yourself? Name and location, what you've been doing before?
You got it. My name is John Presson. I'm here in Tucson, Arizona. Have a background in sales, did a lot of construction growing up, so experienced the firsthand, especially in new builds, firsthand one-on-one with customers. So I do enjoy that. I find that I'm falling back to my roots coming to this door-to-door work. So definitely excited for that.
Nice, very good. And sorry, you said you're in Tucson. Nice, well, very good. Well, we got some good representation in Tucson, so you'll be able to get face to face with some of the local guys too. So that'll be perfect.
Awesome.
Yep. And Christina.
Hi, I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And prior to this, I was a speech pathologist. So total career change. But I am the daughter of a real estate broker who has her own company. So excited for this opportunity and to kind of develop and learn a new skill set.
Great. Now that is good. And thanks for joining in. And Leighton, I don't know if you could hear us, but again, good to see you. We talked last week, and I'm glad to have you on board.
Sure, good to see you guys too.
Cool. Well, let me share my screen really fast. Oh, wrong thing. Come on, Zoom. Hold on. Is this sharing? Well, we'll go without audio. Can you see my screen okay? It's just on this question section.
Yes.
Good to go.
Cool. All right. Chris, I don't know why this thing makes me install Zoom each time. I don't know. I'll mess with you. Mess with that later, but here we go. Well, energy storage, otherwise known as battery storage or battery backup or solar batteries. You'll probably hear folks reference a lot of different things when they're talking about batteries for the house, but usually when people start asking about batteries, they're generally talking about batteries for backup power. We'll get into it a little bit that you can use batteries for other things, even outside of when the grid goes down. But really the main reason when folks are asking about it is like, yeah, power goes out at the house. I want to keep some lights on, even if the grid goes down. And so, we'll get into some of that. But usually the most common question that you'll hear from folks as you're walking through a proposal, or people, when they start looking into solar in general, is they're like, oh yeah, this is great. Solar's going to power my house even when the grid goes down, right? And I should probably say grid instead of power, but the answer to this question, unfortunately, is no. And so, as you were learning from Chris yesterday with the different inverter types, all of those inverters, regardless of the type, when the grid goes down to the house, the inverter has to shut down as well, again, to protect line workers, just in case, like if your power went out because the power line went down, you don't want to backfeed power into that grid and shock somebody, right? And so every solar system without a battery is going to have to shut the whole system down, even whenever that grid is down. So if folks are looking into solar for the purpose of backup power, they need solar with a battery. And I guess I'll preface this slightly with, there have been like, there have been string inverters that have had little plugs that are tied to it that give like very little power for some plug in the garage. Those kind of fell out of popularity just because they're not very effective. There's a new product on the market from Enphase, one of the brand new inverter, the IQ8 model, for those that are curious. It has the ability to effectively island your home from the grid so that it feasibly could power some things in the house, but that's only if the grid is down and the sun is out. And so it can make some power when the sun's out, but otherwise at nighttime, again, you're off the grid. And then the problem too is that you have to install all this extra electrical equipment at the house with those that you would have needed for a battery. And so the cost of running that Enphase IQ8 system, Enphase is already more expensive than SolarEdge, and then the IQ8 is much more expensive. And you need all this other electrical equipment that you may as well just gotten a battery in the first place. Because with an IQ8 without a battery, you don't have power at nighttime. You don't have power. You don't have much power if it's cloudy. And when does the power usually go out? When the weather sucks. And so I don't love the solution. It's a cool idea, but it's a lot of money for kind of a gimmicky feature. So for battery backup, ESS, that's energy storage system, just in case you were curious, but battery backup energy storage system, like it's always trying to top itself off. And that's usually from the solar system, but sometimes could be from the electrical grid itself. But what that battery's main purpose is, obviously, is to help provide some backup power if the grid goes down. But there's another scenario in cases where you have a time of use rate structure from your utility. Like John, you may already be familiar with this in Tucson, just with the way you buy power, it's charged, like you pay a different rate depending on the time of day. And usually like, hey, the morning's pretty cheap, the afternoon's super expensive. And what you could do with a battery in those kind of cases, like there's a lot of rate schedules where, like here in California, for example, there's a peak time from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. is the most expensive time of day. But you may start to think about that of like, wait, all the way until 9 p.m., like the the sun's already down by that point. My solar's not making electricity. So you could use a battery, like, if the sun's going down and your power production's also going down, you could use a battery to help fill in. Like if you're using a bunch of power and your solar's turning off because the sun's going down, your battery could help run that evening electric load while you're making dinner, you're trying to get the kids to bed, like doing all that stuff before you turn everything off for the night. So that's a cool thing. It does work automatically, but for your sake, just to keep things easy, most customers, again, if they're asking about batteries, they're looking at it from a backup power perspective. And that's for, again, the comfort, the control, the security aspect of having a battery in the house. And so what is a solar battery? So again, this is what they look like. Here's a few different models, and the LG Chem battery on the left. In the middle is a Sonnen battery. They're actually owned by Shell now. And then Tesla, that's the Powerwall. That's the most popular solution, and that's what we use the most of as well. And so let's see, 1 second. Got a rep in the house that need a little help. Chris and I are bouncing back and forth on this here. But again, a solar battery for the house is something, again, we install, somebody pays for, we can install, and it's something where they could store backup power for the property. And it's meant to work automatically as well. So you've got that power stored up. You could use it again if the grid goes down in the middle of the night, cloudy days. There's a lot of benefit from having it, and certainly it's something that we could build into the price as well. And so the big thing about batteries is there's a lot of consumer demand right now, which is great. The tough part is there's also all these supply chain issues in the market, and there's a lot of batteries that we've looked at that we don't really like. The Tesla Powerwall keeps coming up to the top again, and they've been pretty back ordered. So benefit for you all is just at the scale that we operate at, we're one of Tesla's preferred vendors, and so we've got batteries in stock where most solar companies do not. So you've got just an inherent benefit being a part of the team here, in that we've got access to a product that a lot of people want and other solar companies do not. So just nice little benefit just for being a part of the team here. And so to geek out a little bit, sometimes customers are going to ask about the technology, but the most popular batteries these days, as we could see, are lithium ion. And so that's the actual battery chemistry. But if you're not already aware, lithium ion is a super popular chemistry across multiple devices. It's in all these computers that we're on right now. It's in your cell phone. It's in electric cars as well. So again, super popular, stable technology, and something where customers can rest assured that it's proven it's going to last for a while and be robust. And so a good comparison, sometimes we get folks that'll ask about the battery chemistry because they're thinking old school batteries, like the old car batteries, like a lead acid battery we could see on the comparison. We don't use those. There's a lot of drawbacks with it, just in the space and room that you'd need. You actually need a secondary room for those batteries because they have to be vented. They need maintenance. You've got to go mess with the electrolytes all the time. It looks like a crazy science project in that room, instead of like the nice clean boxes like we saw in a couple slides back. And so all we use today are lithium ion batteries. So again, if folks are asking, you can let them know that fact. They could rest assured that, yeah, again, it's a popular and stable technology, but other benefit, just like for other devices, same benefit for the house is, lithium ion chemistry has very good depth of discharge. And so what it really means for a homeowner is you can get a lot of run time off of even just a single battery pack for the house. And so, excuse me, it just makes it to where we can really optimize their energy load on the house to the battery and make it to where they can get, again, a long run time for those critical times. Like, again, if the grid goes down, they can have power for a while and have some comfort for a while. Any questions on any of this so far? I know I'm kind of a high level, technical level here, but are folks following along okay? Or is this making sense so far? Yeah. And again, feel free to interrupt me if you do have any questions. So another fun fact that you'll probably not need to talk about with customers, but again, it's something good to know, is there's two different ways that a battery could be coupled to the home. And so there's AC coupled, like we're showing here. There's also DC coupled as well. If we think back to earlier in the week with training with Chris, is thinking about the solar system itself, is the solar panels up on the roof, they make DC electricity or direct current electricity. And that power's got to flow down into the inverter that you guys were talking about yesterday. That's what converts it to AC electricity. Batteries operate on DC. And so, you need to figure out how are you going to get the power into the battery, right? But what we prefer, and actually what the Tesla Powerwall is an AC coupled system. And the big benefit, as we could see on the text, is a DC coupled battery is only going to pull power from the solar panels themselves. And so, there's just drawbacks from that, like you couldn't ever charge your batteries in the middle of the night if you needed to, because the sun's not out, right? You're not running that solar power. Other drawback too is that, say your battery discharges in the night, all your early morning solar production is just going to go to charging the battery up first. And so if you're running a lot of power, you're going to have to pull excess power from the grid, and probably have to pay more for that electricity. Where with an AC coupled system, we could actually pull power from the grid in the middle of the night, right? Like if say we're thinking to my previous couple slides here, where my battery is powering my house in the nighttime while I'm trying to get the kids to bed and everything. If I run my battery down with an AC coupled system, I can actually, my system will automatically charge itself in the middle of the night if I've set the time frame for it to be able to do so. It can charge up at really cheap nighttime rates or off-peak rates from the utility. And then I've got my battery fully topped up so that come the next day when I need to use power again at a high level, I've got my solar system is doing what it needs to do, and then I've got my battery fully topped up. So if I need even more power than my solar system's giving, my battery's going to automatically discharge and put that power into my house. So that works well. Other big benefit too with an AC coupled system, and we're getting a lot of requests for this nowadays, is to retrofit a battery onto an existing solar system. And so, as we can all imagine, battery technology is evolving very quickly, and even the Powerwall, Tesla Powerwall, is already on its second generation. It's about to be on its third generation, and so there's a lot of folks that have already gone solar that either don't have a battery at all or have some older generation they feel like upgrading. With an AC coupled system, we could easily retrofit a battery onto a solar only system that's out there already. So that works out well. Any questions on this aspect? So again, this is a technical one. You'll probably never have to talk about this except for maybe that one crazy engineer customer you get every so often. I think we all know those folks, and that's fine. And usually they'll be like, is this AC or DC coupled? It's AC. Oh, okay, great, right? And if they really grill you on it, you feel stumped, you can call your manager, right? We've got resources to help you. But the big thing, and others can attest as well, is that if you start going into all these crazy technical details on every appointment, what's your customer going to do? They're going to get overwhelmed. They're going to be like, oh, I need to think about this. There's a lot of information I need to think about, when they probably don't care, right? As long as it works, as long as I got backup power, I'm good, right? Does this do that? Yes, good, cool. So again, we tell you just so you know it's in the back of your mind, but you generally just don't have to go share this all the time. What we do want to talk about though, on this next slide, and so first I'll show a little bit better picture example. Again, we've got our numbered boxes here, but box number one, obviously our solar panels are up on the roof and they're going to feed power down into our inverter. But the really important part that we like to talk about with our customers that are interested in the battery is box number 3. So the critical loads panel. And I should actually pop another slide in here. I'll make a note for myself. But just like I had a common question at the beginning of this presentation about, hey, solar powers my house when the grid goes down, right? No. The next question that comes from that is like, oh, okay, so if I get a battery, then I can run everything in my house off the battery, right? No. And so what ends up happening is, again, if you think about your house, right, there's a lot of things. You've got a lot of breakers in the breaker box, and there's breakers of varying loads, or there's devices that pull varying amounts of power, right? Like if you've got a regular desk lamp, it doesn't pull much power, but my air conditioner pulls a ton of power. My electric dryer pulls a lot of electricity. I've got an electric oven that pulls a lot of power. And so the problem with designing a system is we just need to make sure that we design for the loads that a customer is using. And the problem too with having very large load items is that a lot of times a single battery cannot power an air conditioner. It can't power an electric clothes dryer. That's just too much power pushing through that it can support. Feasibly though, you could stack multiple batteries and have it set up to run a really big load if you need to, or you could have several batteries if you need a really long runtime, or you could do a whole lot of batteries wired both in series and parallel to both run heavy loads for a very long time. But then I've seen cases where you've got 10 Tesla Powerwalls on a house, and that's like over $100,000 just in batteries, let alone the solar system. So thinking about that of like, oh, if I want to run my whole house with the air conditioner, the oven, the dryer, all these things, like feasibly it's possible. Financially viable, maybe not, right? Like it's super expensive to try to run the whole house off of batteries. So more commonly, what will happen, again, they're going to ask you that question, right? Of like, oh, I can run the whole house, right? It's like, well, on one battery, no, you can't. We could sell you more batteries, and you could, but we really start raising the price up. So, and we can give you questions that you'd want to ask in this case, but usually first question is, okay, what's driving you to look into solar again? Are you really looking at just savings? Like, is that the main driver for you, or you trying to take control both of your bill, but as well, again, for power, if if the power goes out? And so, if somebody's saying, oh, I only care about saving money, it's like, well, maybe you don't even need a battery. And certainly you don't need multiple batteries. But if somebody's looking for control, then we can start to have the conversation about, like, okay, well, here, this is the aptly named critical loads panel. So what is critical for you to be able to run if the power goes out, right? So think about this for a second. If, okay, my power goes out, what do I have to have running? If I want my fridge, right? I don't want all my food to go bad. I need some lights and some plugs in the kitchen. So, I've got my hub for the house, right? Everybody's in the kitchen. So got my lights on, I've got my plugs so I could keep, a phone and a computer charged, or, be able to run a fan. Maybe I want the circuit for my living room fan on as well. If I start to ask about air conditioning, then we can start to model multiple batteries. It's like, oh, okay, well, your air conditioner will need 3 batteries. That's like 60 grand just in batteries. Do you want that? No, it's too much money. Okay. So what is, think about camping for a second, or glamping. Like, what are the must-haves that you can get by with in a short term, kind of critical time? And usually folks will fall back onto, like, all right, yeah, 1 battery is good, the price works on that, and I want my fridge, some lights, some plugs, the fan, like I'm good with that, right? We do want to make sure that we also ask about medical devices, right? Like, what do you have to have running if the grid goes down? Just to make sure, because what we would ask for you is in the notes on Sunbase, you're going to put notes in on every single client that you put into the CRM, but especially on a battery client, put in, like, here's what they want, here's what's driving this for them. And again, you don't have to jot it down right now. We'll give you the notes, but you want to make sure to translate that to us. And so our proposals team can really accurately design that system for what the customer wants, what they need. This is, again, where we take the extra time, more so than really most other solar companies do, because it's all a long-term commitment. And this is for the customer's control, this is for their comfort. We want to make sure that, again, they're spending a lot of money on the solar system. We want to make sure that they're getting what they want. They could use electricity like they want to. So really, and we'll say this multiple times throughout and ongoing, is just good notes so that our proposals team can make sure that that system's designed right are crucial, but especially so in the case of a battery. But I know that was a lot, but any questions on this aspect here? Or does this make good sense or no sense? John, good. Christina, Leighton, Ubaldo, you guys good? Cool. All right.
Who's add 70 or 72, 93, 45?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and unmute yourself, introduce you. I don't know who you are.
No, actually, that. Oh, hold on a second. That is me. I just connected through my laptop.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
We got the echo. Thanks, Ubaldo. Cool. All right. So we've got next slide is just a quick little display from Tesla themselves, but they show different scenarios about how your solar system and your power wall works, even concurrently with your car. Like, and yes, you can charge an EV off of a power wall, and that's something else. One of the main questions that we'd want you to ask them. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool. And the video on the next slide, or slide after this, gets into some of the app functionality as well. So I'll show that in just a second so you can see. But the main focus here is this will, like, there's some configuring up front for the homeowner, both on, what loads do we want to run, and then how do they want it to operate through their app. But once that's configured, it'll run fully automatically. And so like if the grid goes down, or, Stephen, you get another one of those big freezes in Texas, a battery would just kick right on if the grid went down, and it's gonna keep you running through the night. And then the big benefit here is you've got solar for the daytime. So your solar can both help to run the house, but more importantly too, to help charge up the battery so that you can have power through, again, that was a week-long event a year and a half ago. It happened again a few months ago. It probably is going to keep on happening. And so these kind of things, like the big freeze in Texas, here in California with all these fires and the power shutoffs, and Christina, you're in the Carolinas, you get hurricanes as well, right? So all these things happening, that's what's causing all of our customers to be like, how do I power the house if
Love being in Arizona.
What's that, Chris?
I love being in Arizona.
There you go. Yeah, you avoided all this stuff. You just get a little bit of heat. All right, next slide. So benefits. Again, what we're looking at is really the common things here that folks are looking for. And the big benefit of a battery is, yeah, you've got power, even if the sun goes down. So that's that time of use scenario, right? Sun's going down, your solar's not making as much or any power. Your battery can help give some relief from the utility in those really expensive times of day. Big thing, again, power outages, right? You've got relief from that. Your home or those specific devices or specific circuits in the home are powered, even if the grid goes down. So hugely helpful. You're not going to lose all the food in the fridge and be freezing in the house. And then excess electricity generation. So this one's a little bit more complicated, but you may, depending on how much you all have been looking into solar to date, you may be hearing or reading in the press about like attacks on solar and what different utilities are doing with electric rate programs for solar. But what a lot of this boils down to is there are some places, and a shrinking number of places, with net metering programs. And somewhat simply stated is if you had solar only, no battery. So if you had solar and you had net metering, there's a lot of places where, let's say middle of the day, you're not home, your solar system's making power, but your home's not using power, right? Where's that power go? We learned earlier from Chris that the power goes back into the grid, goes to your neighbors, right? But with net metering, to date, a lot of places have given you retail credit for that. So it's like, oh, great. Even if I'm not using that power, I still get retail credit for that. That's going away in a lot of places. And, it's making it to where, in that same scenario, middle of the day, sun's out, solar system's cranking, you're not home, that power goes back into the grid. A lot of utilities are changing to programs where you get more of an avoided cost credit, which is not very much money. And so it really hampers the financials for you to try to backfeed power into the grid. So you want to try to design a system to not really do that as much. And so that's where batteries are also entering as a big advantage, is that, again, that same scenario, if you're not home, you could use that power to charge up the battery. And so it could be timed to, like, say I want to use a lot of battery power, like in the middle of the night or early in the morning. And so my battery state of charge is low, but in the middle of the day, if I'm not home, my solar system's really just going to charge that battery up. I'm not putting power back into the grid at a super cheap avoided cost rate. So I'm maximizing the value and I'm maximizing the return for myself. So a lot of things that could be done with the battery. Folks mainly, again, ask for them related to power outages, but they've got other benefits as well that they can leverage by having it. So a couple other things. We're going to watch that little Powerwall video from Tesla because, why not let them explain it best themselves? And then we'll get into a little bit about the curb energy monitoring. So we'll shift gears and talk about that in a second. But here, let's jump into the Powerwall video from Tesla.
Go off grid allows you to simulate a power outage by disconnecting Powerwall from the utility grid. This allows you to familiarize yourself with how your Powerwall system will perform and what in your house will be powered during a grid outage. The Tesla app monitors how long your Powerwall system remains off grid. You can find your off-grid backup durations in the backup history screen. To help ensure stable system operation and reliable power for your home, you'll need to pair Powerwall with each phone that will operate Go Off Grid. To pair your phone, go near any of your Powerwalls and then open the energy site of your Tesla app. Select Settings, scroll down, select Pair Phone to Powerwall, and begin pairing. When prompted, toggle the switch on your Powerwall off, then back on. To go off grid, go to the energy site of your Tesla app and tap Go Off Grid. If you haven't yet paired your phone to Powerwall, you'll be prompted here. When ready, select Go Off Grid. You'll receive a notification when your system is off grid. It may take a few minutes to transition. Once Powerwall is off grid, your system will behave as if there were a power outage. If you choose to charge your vehicle while off grid, Go Off Grid respects your vehicle charging during power outage setting and will stop charging when Powerwall discharges below the set percentage. When your Powerwall is fully charged while using Go Off Grid, excess solar production will have nowhere to go. So Powerwall will signal your solar inverter to turn off. To maximize solar production, use the Tesla app to reconnect to the grid before Powerwall is fully charged. Your Powerwall system will automatically reconnect to the grid when it's too low on backup energy, or if Powerwall is unable to provide enough power to support the devices or appliances in use in your home. To manually reconnect to the grid via the Tesla app, simply select Reconnect to Grid. You can review details of the event in the backup history screen.
From the moment you wake up.
Sorry, just trying to pause that. I'm gonna rewind a second. Did that make pretty good sense though in that Powerwall video? Yeah, it's cool functionality. I'm gonna rewind slightly. We've seen this before. Let me pause this thing.
From the moment you wake.
Sorry. Okay, there we go. So yeah, on the Powerwall, I had a question come in about car charging. We saw in that video that you can charge a car, even potentially multiple cars. It really just starts to depend on the charging speed at that point. But one other cool thing that's not shown on here, but we're starting to see unfold now, we'll see unfold more over time too, is vehicle to home functionality. And so the cool thing about electric cars is they have a really big battery pack in them. Like a Powerwall, a single Tesla Powerwall has a 13.5 kilowatt hour capacity, right? Like that's how much power it can hold. But cars are 80, 100, sometimes more kilowatt hours. And so they're just this huge source of power. And we're going to see more technology develop around the fact that you can have your car plugged into the house and feasibly use your car to power your house as well. And so that's already starting to come out, and again, super popular because like realistically for some of these cars, you can get an electric car and have more capacity than spending the same amount on Powerwalls for the house. And so it works to a good value prop. You can't drive a Powerwall, right? But you could drive your electric car. So we'll probably see that take off pretty dramatically here soon. And it gives you that same sort of backup power functionality, but you can set controls to where it won't discharge under a certain amount, right? So you won't end up in a scenario where like, oh, I need to drive somewhere. Now my battery's flat because my house used it all. You could set it to where, you know, like at 50% power, right? It shuts off. So cool stuff coming down the way. And you know, it's just nice to see all this technology evolving to electrify the home. But with that, so shifting gears on, you know, the Curb energy device. So we'll watch a little video. It's kind of a funny video, but again, it's a good explanation. But you know, to date, you know, we talk about monitoring the system and starting to monitor how much power it produces and, you know, when it produces power. And like, again, we can monitor our battery and how much power it's got and what it's doing. But most people don't have a way to monitor their house, right? Like how much power are they using? Most solar systems only monitor what they produce, not what a customer is using in the house. And so standard on all of our systems, we install a Curb energy box, and that gives the ability for a customer to monitor their home energy consumption. And so they can get the full picture, right? I could see what I'm using in the house. I can see what my solar system's producing and be able to have a better idea of what's going on. So there's no surprises. So I'll let this play for a little bit and see what they got to say.
From the moment you wake up, you depend on electricity. It powers the technology all around you, making your home safer, more comfortable, and responsive to your needs. But electricity is confusing. That's why we built Curb, the whole home energy intelligence system. Isn't it time to power smarter? To take control of the very thing that connects you to your world? Say goodbye to energy bills that come a month later and don't tell you where your money went. Curb shows you exactly how much power is being used at any time.
So I really love Curb for two reasons. I love it from a budget perspective, and I also love it from an environmental perspective. This part of the app here shows me exactly where my money is going so that I can have all the data I need to make changes for next month so I can lower my utility cost and also lower my impact on the environment.
Curb is installed in your home's breaker box, where it monitors everything that uses electricity. It lets you know when things are accidentally left on and forecasts your electric bill so that there are no surprises. Curb sensors work like a brain, processing electrical data and identifying home energy trends. So you can rest easy, knowing that Curb is always on the lookout. If Curb notices something odd, you'll find out right away. And if your appliances start acting up, Curb will give you time to plan. Curb will even remind you of the little things so that you can focus on the more important things in life. Over time, Curb will learn about your energy behavior and give you personalized tips, saving you money and making your home more efficient.
What was really the benefit was this deeper understanding. How are we using energy? Where are we using it? It all has a cost associated with it, but it was that learning experience for the engineering folks amongst us that I thought was particularly valuable. And it does end up changing your actions. It changes the way you interface with energy. And that's a good thing overall.
Curb gives you the power of information and shows you the impact that changes have right away. You can even set up alerts when you get close to your budget to help you adjust and stay on track. And to make your life easier, Curb also works with other smart home devices, allowing you to power things on and off directly from the Curb app, no matter where you are. Power your life smarter with Curb.
So again, kind of funny little video, but it's a cool way for folks to finally be able to see like, oh yeah, what is being used in the house, how long, you know, somebody forget to turn something off, you know, things like that. So any questions about this, the Curb device itself?
So you said that's standard on every install?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. and most solar companies are not doing any sort of consumption monitoring. And so, it's just this big void, right? Like you can monitor the solar system, what it's making, but they still have no ability to monitor what they're using in the home, right? Like who left the lights on, or, oh, we forgot to turn this off, or just get a good picture of what's going on. And what we've found too with the curve is that folks are able to see that usage, see the trends, and start to make some updates and reduce the overall energy usage in the house too. So it works out nice, and they can save money from solar, but they can also save money if they're refining and optimizing their energy usage. So again, another nice selling advantage that you all have through us is just we do these things standard, and it just gives a more complete package for homeowners when they're looking into solar. So that is great. Chris, how are you doing on your side? Because I could chew up a little more time with
I'm good.
panels and whatnot.
I am good.
Cool.
Remind me after class to talk to you about Sunbase and campaigns
Cool. Yeah, I saw that note.
or Umbrink. Yeah. All righty. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and steal a screen share.
Yep, I'm stopping it now.
All right. Questions, concerns, grunts, gripes, moans. Let's hear it. Nothing. Okay, there's a sharp class. Love it. All right. So, what we will do, we'll take a short break here in a second. I'm gonna go through the first just slide, basically, kind of go over what we're going to go over. Take a break because we're gonna shift gears pretty dramatically because you guys learned a lot about solar. I want you guys to start learning some a little bit different just for the rest of the day so that you don't become overwhelmed. Let that stuff sink in. So tomorrow when we revisit it, it's a little bit more, you guys are a little bit more fresh, okay? Because you guys learned a lot of technical information in 2 days. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about the advertising methods, objection handling, and then selling the proposal and advanced solar. We're going to be going over that stuff tomorrow. So today's going to be more advertising methods, talking about, setting up sales funnels. And then the big one, how to canvas. Okay. So I take a lot of time on that one, give you guys the 5 steps to success. And we're gonna have some fun with that one. Give you guys some good examples, talk about the objection handling on the doors before we jump into sales tomorrow, then back into solar and how they interact with each other. So let's go ahead and take, it is 37 right now. Let's just come back at 5 on the dot my time. So about 23 minutes. And we'll get going for the rest of the hour and a half that we're here. See you guys in about 23 minutes. And we are back. Welcome back, everybody. Fantastic to see you. Give everybody another minute just in case they're running back to their computers. Because I know I'm just so entertaining and so much fun to do training. You don't want to miss a minute of being with me. I totally get it. I'm not conceited at all. No, I'm super. This is actually one of my most my favorite trainings to do. When it comes to canvassing, even if you weren't planning on doing it, you're gonna end up doing it just because it's free. It costs you nothing to go knock on somebody's door. And hey, if you can be successful at it, more power to you. We do have multiple people who are. It's great for them. I couldn't do it. I would lose my mind. But I do teach you guys a little bit today about setting the or doing some funnels. So that's going to be another big one that we're going to look at. So cool. Looks like everybody's back. So let's get to it. Let's get rocking. Let's get rolling. So big thing to remember, people fail, programs don't. So this is a program. I'm going to teach you guys the program. The first thing that we're going to go over is a little bit about just advertising methods. Okay. Then we're going to get into the actual canvassing aspect of it, because you can do advertising in a lot of different ways. Like I was just saying before, 80% of our reps end up going door to door, even if they didn't want to, because it's a heck of a lot faster to get leads and it's a heck of a lot faster to make money. So it doesn't mean that you have to do it. On my team, and you guys are going to be temporarily on my team, probably won't be long enough to get your install. However, on my team, you are required to knock doors around your neighbors. Okay. So when you get an install, all the neighbors that are installing, you're required to knock those neighbors, at least 10 of the neighbors that are in view of that house. Because nothing will piss you off more than finding out that 5 neighbors signed up for solar and they didn't call you directly. Okay. This is why we make sure that you guys canvass neighbors that are installing. Other than that, I'm going to teach you guys the roundabouts and how to do this stuff. Let's do it. Advertising, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk a little bit about advertising. So what is advertising? Advertising has 3 primary objectives: to inform, to persuade, and to remind. Informative advertising creates awareness of products, brands, and services and ideas. It announces new products and programs and can educate people about the attributes and benefits of new or established products. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to get people to sit down with us and to talk to us about solar so we can show them the benefits of going solar, right? So we have to figure out how we're going to do that. Now, we do this as a company as well. We have to look at these major things that we're looking at. We're trying to create awareness. Yes, we're trying to create awareness for the SPP certification so it becomes more recognized, right? We got to, for our products, for the Titan Solar Power Panel, for the services, for the free consultations, and just the ideas about the tax credits and all those other things. So we have to focus around all those when we do it. Well, there's a lot of different forms of advertising out there. One of the oldest forms of advertising and one of the most outdated ones is print media. It still works. You see these more often than you do in newspaper, but you'll see mailers, right? So it's one of the ones that we use as well. But print media is kind of expensive and you don't reach a huge audience. Radio is the same way. We don't have a huge market reach with radio anymore because we all have Apple and we all have Spotify and we all have all this music streaming services, so we can avoid listening to commercials. Same thing with the television. How many of us actually have some sort of service to provide us TV that we actually watch? Not all of us, right? And if we do, it's because it was bundled, not because we actually use it. And we end up using our Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus and all the pluses and all these great streaming platforms that have zero commercials whatsoever, unless they're just going to be promoting their own movie, right? So why would we spend a whole bunch of money on television? Well, we don't. Only reason why companies do it nowadays is because their specific market, their demographic actually watches TV. Billboards is one that we do like to do, and we'll do them more often. We're just not doing a lot of them right now. But people still have to get out of their house and they recognize it. It's one of those things where it's more built around credibility. Hey, we're the guys that are on the big billboard. See that goofball that was on the billboard over there? That's one of the owners. That's Chris. That's the kind of stuff that I do, right? Now, we have two of the biggest forms of advertising in the world. Word of mouth is still the largest form of advertising out there, but internet's right there, right behind it, right? Because a lot of internet is word of mouth advertising. It's all about reviews nowadays, right? What did these people say about it? It goes back to word of mouth. Well, I'm going to believe this complete stranger that I never met versus all the great things that are said about this company by third-party sources. Well, that's the problem with the internet. We don't know who's on there just trying to trash a company. Most reviews that come in are from somebody who just flat out didn't care about the company and they just wanted something done, but they didn't even think to pick up the phone and ask for help, right? They think it's the only way to get through to a company to get help is to call and complain or to write a letter and complain, right? So now they go on Google and they blast the company and they never update their addresses or their reviews. That happens every single day to companies who don't deserve it, right? Then there's the companies who do deserve it. So it's kind of one of those mixed things where you hear people say, I really don't trust the reviews anymore. But you know who they do trust is their family, friends, and neighbors. So this is also how we do canvassing and these other forms of advertising, because we're going to mention the neighbors. We're going to mention the neighbors that we've been working with so that they can actually go talk to the neighbors and see how we did for them specifically. You guys have probably all watched the movie that your friend told you, don't ever watch this movie. It's absolutely garbage. You may not have gone to the theater to watch it, but you didn't watch it until maybe it was free or maybe it was just convenient to be able to watch it and you were bored, right? Same thing. Don't ever use that solar company. They're absolute garbage. No, it was one guy and they, probably weren't even trained or that guy was just a bad person. We live in the world where what one person says all of a sudden becomes the gospel. So we have to make sure we protect that brand, protect that reputation as we're doing these advertisements. So one of the ways that we do it is funnels. Okay, that's huge on the internet. Web funnels are absolutely incredible. We have pre-written web funnels for you guys to be able to go in and use. We have pre-approved messaging. We have pre-approved logos that you guys can put up there, pre-approved videos that you guys can go ahead and put on your guys' advertising to get it to pop out a little bit more. If you have spent any amount of time on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube since you started this job or since you did your first interview, you guys have probably seen, if you guys have a meter that looks like this, right there on top of you, right there in front of your screen, right? Well, your phone listens to you. It promise you it does. They actually finally admitted it years ago. After years of speculation, your phone listens to you and it gives you advertisements based off of what you're talking about in your home. So the downside to internet is it's based off of what you're talking about inside your home. So if you're not talking about solar with anybody, if you're not searching for solar, the ads aren't going to pop up, right? So we have to make sure we're promoting in different territories and different markets in order to be able to grab that attention as well, especially around Christmas time when people are trying to do more Christmas shopping than they are solar shopping. So this is the downside to the internet. Word of mouth, that'll never change. Referrals, testimonials, door to door, those are absolutely incredible forms of advertising. So here's one for television. It's a nice little fun fact for you guys. Anybody ever watch the Super Bowl? Favorite time of the year for commercials, right? So everybody actually watches the commercials. It's the only time of the year that commercials are any good. At $6 million, NBC will be seeking a 9.1% increase over the $5.5 million CBS sought for 30 seconds of ad time in the 2021 and the Fox pressed for in 2020. This is for Super Bowl ads for 30 seconds of airtime. $6 million for 30 seconds of ad time. During the Super Bowl in 2020, Anheuser-Busch earned the top title of top ad spender, having invested $42 million in promoting its products. In comparison, the runner-up Procter & Gamble spent $11 million less than that on commercials aired during the telecast. That is a huge number, $42 million to have ads on. Why did they do that? Well, they made most of that money back during the Super Bowl itself. A bunch of other companies that actually spend money like that during the Super Bowl are like Coca-Cola, Doritos, Walt Disney, Comcast, Pepsi, Chrysler. Why? Because everybody's out buying most of these things during the Super Bowl, right? After the Super Bowl. Chrysler sells more cars than they do during the rest of the year because that's what people are seeing all day long during the Super Bowl, right? So companies don't mind doing that. Well, do you have $6 million in your pocket to burn on the Super Bowl this year? Probably not, right? So we're going to teach you some ways to be able to get the same type of excitement from your customers without having to spend that type of money. So we're going to be talking about sales funnels. It really is a funnel. I'm going to give you guys some example of those. So the point of a sales funnel is to cast a wide net and start narrowing it down to get them through the sale portion of it. So we're going to start out. So no matter how complex, simple or complex, the fact is that sales funnels work, and because they're built to a certain universal principle. Number one, 80% of consumers choose to do business with vendors who provide valuable content at all stages of the buying process. 63% of consumers need to hear a company's value proposition 3 to 5 times before they trust these claims. And number 4, nurtured leads make 47% larger purchase than non-nurtured prospects. Why is that important for us if we're only talking to them during the consultation? Well, if you have a funnel, you're going to want something that's going to put them in a drip campaign. So you're emailing them additional information that they need. The reason why 87% of our customers that are sitting down with us chose to go with us instead of another company is because we actually do nurture them through the process. We make sure that they're educated through the process. They have the information that they need. You have to do the same type of thing during your sales funnel when you're building that out. In addition to the top, middle, and the bottom of the sales funnel have traditionally been structured about 4 sales funnel stages known by the acronym starting with an A. Awareness. So first thing you have to do when you're trying to get this is awareness. Sometimes referred to as the attention stage. The first stage of the sales funnel is where the brand catches the eye of the new audience member via marketing content and or valuable baseline offer. So this is that one that makes people pop up, right? This is that one, hey, have you seen this meter? Do you have a meter that looks like this one? Do you pay an electric bill? Something to get the customer's eye. Oh yeah, I do that. Then you have to get them through the second part of your funnel, which is the interest. Here, the brand will begin to forge a deeper relationship with their prospects, becoming more actively involved in learning about their goals and or their problems. In doing so, you can begin providing preliminary solutions, allowing them to experience quick wins and become more engaged. So this is where you have like some type of little questionnaire, right? So do you have an electric bill that's more than $100 a month? Do you have a credit score that's more than 600 FICO? Do you have ABC? Do you have E? And then yes. Great, you're pre-qualified, right? Desire. So this is where you have something that's going to be a little bit more in depth for the customer. So customers who reach the third stage of the sales funnel have become convinced that they do in fact have a larger problem that needs solving. Moreover, they're coming around to the idea of making a purchase to solve said problem. At this point, the brand showcases a premium offering can be of service. So this is where you're trying to get them in order to get them to submit their information to get the actual proposal to sit down with them. Then they have the action stage. So this is where we would be sitting down with the customer. The final stage of the sales funnel has prospects deciding to purchase or not purchase the brand's premium product or service. You'll need to reinforce your value offer as well as the downsides of not making a purchase. These sales funnel stages describe the general process all of us go through, as well as some general action steps you need to take to keep their prospects moving through the funnel. So this is kind of what it looks like. We have our front end, middle end, and back end, right? So as soon as we bait them, we have these little steps that they have to go through in order for them to be able to purchase something. We do the same thing. The difference between what you're looking to do and what some of these other companies are doing by just putting out a meme is you're actually going to be creating value during the entire way up. So I'm seeing a ton of solar stuff with the Will Smith slap. And it's like, hey, your electric company, solar, and it's smacking the electric company, something like that, right? Your plans for your plans for vacation this summer, and the utility bill smacking the person across the face, right? It's like, great, that's funny, but there's nothing else after that. They don't have a value adder during the rest of their steps. Sure, they got people to engage and they laugh at the post, but nobody can really go in and request any type of information. There's no little quick wins. There's nothing like that because they don't know the steps in order to do so. So what we've built out inside of this one is the little mini funnel. So I'll show you guys that. So depending on what stage or depending on what you're selling and who your target audience is, you'll want to tailor each stage of your sales funnel accordingly. Yes, you absolutely can have more than one funnel in place at any given time. This will become a little bit more clear in a little bit, but AIDA is a great starting point, but there's a better way. So this is that mini funnel. So here's the main 4 steps. So it's the top of the funnel. It's general campaigns. It's soft touch. Somebody put in their information. You got traffic going. Great. You're going to get a lot of people who come click on it, but you're not going to get a lot of people who go to the next phase because maybe they don't qualify their renters or something like that, right? This is that personalized campaign. This is that warm touch. They submitted their information. Now we're trying to get them to sit down and have a conversation with us. And then we have the bottom of the funnel. This is where specialty campaigns, hot lead, follow-up, constant contact. We've sat down. We're trying to get them to buy something at this point, right? So here's that main 4 parts that we're talking about earlier with the AIDA. But what we need to look at is how do we get to this point? How do we throw money at something and make it work, right? It works just like this. Step number 1 is you have to know your offer. So this is a little mini funnel that I'm talking about. Know your offer. What are you offering? What do you get out of it? What does the customer get out of it? That's what they care about. What am I going to get out of this? But what are you going to get out of this too, right? Then you could start getting traffic in. Once you get the traffic in, otherwise, if you don't know your offer, yeah, you're going to get your stuff out there to people, but you're not going to be able to get them to pay attention and actually start clicking on your ad. Then you can actually bait them with catchphrases and funny memes or good videos, something to grab their attention. So you can show them that promo and get them through that small questionnaire so that they get to the actual information stage and submit their information for you to sit down and do a proposal. So where they contact you, then the end off is where we sit down and we do the close. Okay. So here's that little mini funnel. All right. So the front end offer, what is it? So this is a surface or general needs for the customer. It's a low price or low risk offer that provides value to the customers, allowing them to solve surface level issues with minimal investment. So it's only going to take a little bit of your time, but here's what it is. You're going to get no cost, no obligation, consultation to see if you qualify to go solar, right? We're going to give you the information. We get your time, you get the information type of thing, right? Offer your prospect, offer your prospective customers. Sorry, once your prospective customers are taking you up on your bait offer, you'll want to send them directly to a landing page or a squeeze page to showcase your leveled premium offer. So we'll explain that more here in a minute on your squeeze page. So those who see the sales focused content have been pre-qualified for the bait offer. So do you have a home in like for me, do you have a home in Southern Arizona that you pay utilities on? Are you the owner of that home? Great. You're pre-qualified for solar. Come forward, meaning they should have interest in the product or your service. Now, that is if you're able to keep their attention and effectively communicate the true value of your offer. So we're writing the ad copy comes in, it's important. So we have copies of ad copies and we have copies that you can just copy paste. A couple of important things. You need to follow this checklist in order to be able to have an accurate squeeze copy for your page. Looks just like this. A copy needs to be quick, needs to quickly communicate the value of your offer and prime your audience to take action immediately. Let your brand or your personality come through. Be a relatable character. Don't be, somebody who's trying to get out there with go rent a Lamborghini and record yourself in it. Nobody wants to buy solar from that person. Okay. Tailor your message to your audience. Shorten sentences and paragraphs, but provide in-depth information. Right below or right at or below a 6th grade reading level so you don't leave anybody out, and use bullet point or numbered lists. So include subheaders and or images every 200 to 300 words. So you guys have all seen a blog post where it's just a whole bunch of words, right? You're interested in reading that post is no fun. It's not there. You don't want to do it. It's just too many words, right? But the one that might have the same amount of words, but has giant pictures, so it looks like the words are squeezed and they're compressed along the sides, you actually read those because that's where the valuable content is. You know you can skim through it. That's what a squeeze copy is. You need to have that stuff in there with good pictures so that your customers know when they're trying to submit their information, when they go to read that, they're not going to be bored reading the information. So in short, speak directly to your audience and don't overcomplicate your message. Now, I'm going to talk to you guys here about something about 5th grade level, or 5-year-olds. So get ready for that one. Social proof is another one. I'm just going to go through this one quickly because we all know what it is. We've all seen it. A lot of companies do it, including solar companies. It's all about for instance, Justin today, he's like, hey, just got somebody who had $1.28 on their electric bill. That's great. Use the picture. Use it for social media proof. You have a customer that's only spending $1.28 on solar the first month they had it turned on. That's huge. That was the only overage that they had, right? So it's social proof. It's testimonials, getting videos of your customers doing testimonial. We have one, Gabriel did a burn the bill, and the guy burned the bill right in front of it. And the neighbor came over because he was wondering what was going on. And he set an appointment with that guy, and that guy's buying solar now too, right? So social proof works. Having your neighbors, going to your neighbors after they buy something from you during the installation period, they see the social proof. On your pages, when you're doing your squeeze copies, having social proof, whether it's a couple of videos from your customers who gave you authorization to use their, their face with the recording to talk about you personally, do it. It's great. Call to actions are also important. So no matter what you're offering on any given squeeze page, it needs to be crystal clear what your audience needs to do in order to receive it. You need to give us a copy of your electric bill and set a time for us to come and sit down, right? We're going to call you to set that time. Don't beat around the bush. Make your call to action stand out from the other elements on the page, allowing interested customers to take the next steps as soon as it's ready. So probably right at the beginning, click here to get pre-qualified. And then right after the first sentence or two, click this link to see if you qualify. Then right in the middle, a giant button, click to see if you qualify. Putting it all around your page makes it really helpful, okay? So you might even want to include them on the top, bottom, and middle of your page. The last thing you want to do is have your customers engaged and then have them lose interest because they can't find where to submit the information. You got to make it super simple. So the middle offer is very simple. It's a progressively more valuable and intense solution that the customers need to solve their deep-seated problem and better prepares them for a high price point for the product or service. This is where you're getting them, they click it and they have to submit their information to be able to sit down with you. So you're extending the offer to have an in-home consultation for no cost so that they can receive the information on how they can go solar. Does it mean that they're going to buy solar? No, it's a no cost, no obligation consultation, but here's what you need to give us in order to be able to do that. The back-end offer is the most valuable, intense, and costly product or service that a customer can use on a conditional basis to solve the ever-present problem in their lives. Now, you guys are hearing me say this now, and I'm going to be contradictory later. The solution that we're going to be providing is solar. All right, I'm going to be contradictory because we do consultative sales. So what that means is we are actually the solution because anybody can sell them solar. We are the solution to their problems, not solar. And I'm going to show you guys how we do that. And we have to build that while sitting down with the customer, because at the end of the day, there are 20,000 solar companies out there and any of them can solve their solar needs. Does that mean they're going to do it right? No, we can, and we know we will. So in wrap up, the thing is, there's no guarantee that your customers will simply move on to the next level once they've experienced all you have to offer on the current stage. In many cases, your customers are more likely to stick with what they know than risk jumping into the next tier of service. So this is why funnels can be great and they can be horrible at the same time. It takes time to get leads to come in because a lot of times they're going to read it and they were left with a bad taste in their mouth from word of mouth before. So instead of heavy-handedly pushing your most valuable offer, you want to simply keep them engaged by offering maybe some valuable content, right? So that they can keep coming back and eventually get a lead from them at some point in time. Basically, this involves doing whatever you can to continue to provide value to them after they've purchased the given product or service. So what this is, it's a lot like a blog post, right? So if you guys are going to be doing a lot of funnel work, what you should be thinking about is, should I open up a Facebook page or should I open up a little blog page to where I can send people a link every so often to keep them engaged with me so they trust me and they don't listen to the word of mouth from somebody that might have had a bad experience with a different company. If you aren't going to be doing a lot of funnel work, I wouldn't worry about it too much, okay? This is what we want to talk about. Canvassing is a systematic initiation of direct contact with individuals commonly used during political campaigns. Canvassing can be done for many reasons: political campaigning, grassroots funding, community awareness, membership drives, and more. Campaigners knock on doors to contact people personally. Guys, we'll be back in just 30 seconds. 1 second. Sorry about that. I had pulled dinner off the stove. Okay, so we're going to learn about a couple things on canvassing today. Okay, I'm going to talk to you guys about the 5 steps but there's some rules and there's some processes that we need to go through before doing this. This process is interchangeable with calls, 100%. Very similar script, very similar style, the exact same rules. So I'm gonna be talking about door to door, but understand that they are interchangeable, whether you're gonna be on the phone or you're gonna be putting knuckles to a door. So it works just like this. Most companies give a script, right? Why are scripts good? Why are scripts bad? Well, scripts are good to memorize so as you know what you're always going to say and when to say it. The downside is a lack of flexibility to overcome the objections. We still provide some sort of script, but our big thing that we're focusing on is a step program. So step programs are great. Why do we use a step program? Scripts are available to help you know what to say and when to say. When a customer gives you an objection or you're interrupted, instead of finding your place in your script, you're able to continue with the step that you were interrupted on. It's a lot like definition training, okay? So it gives sales professionals the ability to use their personality and skills. It doesn't create robots and allows for a very candid conversation with the customer. So this is why we do step programs instead of just scripts. Scripts are still there, but they're not going to be your primary source of communication with the customer. The step is, when you fill in the step with the part of the script that you're going to say, put it to your own words, your own personality, and you'll see a lot of success come from it. Now, here's a couple things that you should remember. You're buying their time at the door every 10 seconds. The longer the section of your pitch is, the higher chance the customer will go off script and ask a question that isn't relevant at that point in time. You end each and every step with a yes or no question and respond with a positive statement no matter what they say. And remember, they don't have enough information to say no yet. So any objection is just a smokescreen. Always finish your pitch. I'll give you guys a second to write that down. You can get my notebook. We go into more details about these here in a few minutes, but these are super, super, super important things to remember when you're doing this. Whoops. Okay, now here are the 6 rules. So it's going to be tying in these things that will on what we should remember to the actual 6 rules of canvassing. Rule number 1, ask the right questions. So there's 3 primary types of questions that salespeople use. We use yes and no questions, open-ended questions, or either or questions. Yes or no questions are going to elicit a yes or no response from the customer. Does that make sense? You guys see what I did there? Totally makes sense now, doesn't it? Those are 3 yes or no questions back to back. They're going to want you, it's going to make you want to answer yes or no. You're going to use these when you're going to want to get a specific response from the customer. An open-ended question is going to open things up to allow them to expand and put their own thoughts into the actual conversation. So you can keep people involved in a conversation depending on how you want to keep them involved. So you guys have heard the term before in sales, you want to be controlling the conversation. That doesn't mean you have to be the one always talking. It's the person asking the best questions is going to be in control of the conversation. So there's going to be times when I want them to have an open end and they can talk about whatever they want to talk about. There's going to be times where I want to have a pointed decision where it's going to be a yes or no. So you have to determine when's a good time and when's a bad time to use each one of these types of questions. So an open-ended question I want to ask when I'm making a friend or I'm trying to solve for a need. I'm trying to find out what the customer's need is, right? So we're going to talk about a lot of those things here moving forward. But open-ended questions are absolutely fantastic when used correctly. When you use them at the wrong time, it could really shoot you in the foot. Same thing with the yes or no. An either or a win-win scenario question is where you give a win-win scenario to a customer. So I like to call it the illusion of control. You're going to give somebody 2 options that you want them to choose from. They're going to end up choosing from those 2 options. Like, which day works better for you, tomorrow or the day after? They're typically going to respond with tomorrow or the day after. Anything outside of that is typically going to be a true objection that you're going to have to overcome, or they just weren't paying attention to the actual question itself. So you're going to have to go back and repeat the either or. When you're trying to go for a close or trying to set an appointment and you use a yes or no response, the knee-jerk response 9 times out of 10 is going to be no. So even if somebody was interested, you just shut yourself down by asking a yes or no question at the wrong time. We're going to talk more about when and how to use these questions during the canvassing portion and during the sales portion of our training. Now, step number 2, rule number 2, follow the program. People fail, programs don't. Huge rule, and you got to understand it. We're not building this thing out for no reason. We wanted you guys to be successful at it. So we built a true and tried program that will help you guys be more successful. You just kind of have to adapt to it, right? That's where we have to determine, are we going to be a graduate, or are we going to be a student? Or are we going to be a vacationer? What are we going to be? Are we going to follow the program, or are we going to try to do it our way? Even if you guys want to do it your way for a period of time, that's fine. And if it works for you and you're making the money you want to make, that's fine. But if you're not, well, try it our way for a little bit. See if it works. Because this comes from experience and training. When you follow in the steps, you know what a customer is going to ask before you ask it at the doors. This is different than anticipating questions inside anticipating objections inside the home. So I'm going to show you guys how that works during the objection portion handling. Rule number 3, don't prejudge, don't carry your past losses forward. So here's a fun little thing. They don't know you. They weren't expecting you. You don't know what's going on the other side of the door, what their day's been like. The person you talked to in the last house didn't move to the house that you're knocking right now. They haven't heard it before, despite what they say, and you're not the person they talked to before. These are all important little sub rules that you guys have to understand. And you guys have to remember when you're starting this out, because it's really easy to take that personally. There's nothing personal against you if they say no or they shut the door. They could have lost their job. They could have had a death in the family. They could have gotten in a fight with the spouse. The dog could have swallowed a basketball. The kids could have pooped on the wall. You don't know what's happening inside the house. So don't take it personally when they say no, or if they say no, right? If they have a bad attitude, it's not because of you. It's something going on the other side of that door. And if that person did have a bad attitude, yeah, they didn't move. So when you go to the next house, don't carry that forward to the new house. They're not going to have the same objection. They're not going to have the same attitude as the guy before you. So remember that as you guys start out in your careers doing this, it's not easy to maintain somebody, to start projecting your attitude onto other people's. It's easier to start projecting their attitude onto yours. Your job is going to be different. You have to make them more excited than you are. And there's going to be a way that we do that. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that in a minute. Rule number 4, have the right attitude, respond with the right attitude. Your attitude will determine your customer's attitude. If the customer gives you a negative response or objection, respond positively. This changes their perception and spins the conversation in a positive direction that you control. It's also important to transition between steps with saying things like good, great, fantastic, exactly, that's amazing, awesome, are all perfect responses. Okay? Don't interrupt the customer. Be assertive, not aggressive. Here's what's really important to understand about this, guys. Your attitude will determine the attitude of your customers. All right? I mean it when I say be assertive and don't be aggressive. There's a big difference between the two. A lot of people aren't taught the difference between the two. First thing you have to do is take the words yes, but out of your vocabulary right now. Stop saying that to people because you're eliciting a negative response. You just told them they're wrong. Do you like being told that you're wrong? No, nobody likes being told that they're wrong. So let them say what they're going to say. Simply nod, perfect, and move forward, allowing them to feel like they've won. As they gather new facts, they're going to be open to listening to these facts, and they're actually going to be able to change their own mind without ever having to admit that they were wrong about something. The moment you tell somebody that they were wrong, yes, but you're going to shut their ears and open their mouth. Once you do that, you're going to shut down all possibility of them wanting to listen and having an opportunity to be able to change their mind. When you shut their mouths and open their ears, you have a chance for them to change their own mind and no longer have that problem with the customer of them feeling like their ideas were just stepped on and that their opinions aren't valid. Don't do that to a customer. It's going to be the worst thing you can do for your sales career. So take the words yes, but out of your vocabulary and watch the way that people respond to you change. They never have to admit that they're wrong again. Customers don't like admitting they're wrong, just like you don't. It makes it really, really easy for them to change their mind and actually say yes to going solar rather than trying to defend their original answer of, I told you I wasn't going to buy anything today. That's perfect. Then just do your job. Gabriel got one yesterday just like that. Took him a couple tries to get really good at that. I kept telling him over and over and over again, Stop being aggressive. I'm not being aggressive. I'm just telling them that they're wrong. Exactly. They're wrong. This guy was so adamant when he walked to the door saying, I'm not buying anything. I'm letting you do this just so you can get credit for it. That's great. Thank you. Sat down, went over the information with him. The dude was just, hey, I want to buy, I have to buy this. I want to go for it. Well, how do I do this? He got to change his own mind. Let people change their own minds. Now, enthusiasm, the meet and increase rule. This is super, super, super crucial. So this is how we start changing the attitudes of people that we talk to. When you meet, you have to meet a customer's energy level and you raise it by 1. Each time the customer energy level starts to increase by 1, you increase yours again. When you're excited about what you're doing, they are excited about what you're doing. Remember that smiling is contagious, smile and dial, right? Same with the doors, smile and knock, all right? And your energy starts at the street, not when they answer the door. They saw you on their drive home. They saw you when you were talking to the neighbors. They saw you on their cameras. They formed their first impression of you before your knuckles even touched the door, okay? So it's up to you to make sure that you have a good first impression. So if you're walking around the neighborhood pulling leaves and kicking cans and fighting with your spouse on the phone or talking to somebody that you need to pay a bill to, whatever the case may be, they have that impression of you already, and a bad first impression is really hard to overcome. Me, I walk down the middle of the street and I wave at everybody. I wave at the dogs. I talk to the dogs. I don't pull anything. I don't throw anything. I quit smoking, but back when I used to smoke and I was doing this, I never smoked in front of anywhere near customers' houses. I wanted to make sure I gave a good perception to people so they had a good first impression. And I would skip sometimes. I'd high five neighbors that were walking their dogs. And the perception that customers had when I wonder what this guy's doing out here, instead of, ooh, who is that guy? What's he doing out here? I want that. So when I'm walking up to a door, even if all the blinds are shut and it doesn't look like anybody's home, I'm waving to the door as I'm walking up. Why do I do that? Well, the neighbors across the street see me waving as I'm walking up. The other thing is that they might be inside actually watching me. Oh crap, he saw me. And now they're going to answer the door. So it works really, really well. So I have a lot of enthusiasm when I'm out in the field so that it's contagious to the customers. Then I make them meet my energy level every single time. So it's important to remember you have to just increase them by 1, because if they're hello and you, hey, how are you? You're going to freak them out and you're going to make them piss their pants. Don't make a customer piss their pants. It's a bad idea. Okay. You want to just bring their level up just a little bit. And if they're, hey, can I help you? Hey, good to meet you. I'm Chris. I'm sure neighbors told you, right? Bring them up a little bit. Now, when their energy level increases, you bring it up again to the point where you guys are high-fiving and they're excited to have you come back. Okay. When you increase their energy level, they're excited to have you around. You don't want to be around boring people. You don't want to be around people that suck the life out of you. Don't be that person at the doors, and you'll see better responses at the doors. Now, the last and most important step is assume the appointment. You assume that they already said yes. You assume that they love it. You assume that they love me, and you keep that momentum moving forward to the next step. So have the right attitude, be enthusiastic, and just assume that they love you already. And you're going to see people respond that way. So step by step, guys. This is how solar works. This is how setting appointments work. We are all step by step. So sales is a numbers game, and setting appointments is no different. By hitting your metrics, you'll accidentally walk into sales. Your goal is to set appointments, not to sell solar at the door. You will not be talking about solar at the door. Every time they ask you about something about solar, I don't know. I got to get a picture of the graph to see if the home qualifies. You guys will never, ever, ever go into in-depth conversations about solar at the door. If you do, you'll stop selling solar. I promise you every single time. You can't deliver the value you need to in a 5-minute conversation at the door with no copy of the electric bill. I promise you, it's not going to happen. Best canvassers in the world cannot make a living doing that. They're going to get themselves shut down. But it's also a numbers game. When you're brand new, you're not going to be doing this on purpose. You're going to be doing it on accident. You're going to screw up and get a sale. Okay? But you have to talk to enough people in order to be able to do that. So we have to go through our pitch every single time, and we have to start with step number 1. Step number 1 is one of my favorite parts to do, because this is how you're going to determine the rest of the conversation itself. It's called breaking preoccupation. So step number 1, break preoccupation. We are going to be asking questions to get their attention off of what's going on inside the house onto me. We're going to use 2 consecutive questions back to back. That's cue number 1. The first question that you said they didn't hear, they alerted them that there's a question. The second question gives them something to respond to. Make it the same. Be specific with your questions. It should only take you about 5 seconds to get through this part. Remember, we're buying 10 seconds of our time at a time, right? So we have to make sure that we're buying it right. So I'm going to use 5 seconds. Breaking preoccupation is designed to put 100% of the focus onto you. They weren't paying attention once they answered the door. They were preoccupied with kids, with cookies, cooking, with movies, with animals, work, whatever the case may be. Something was going on inside that house before you knocked on the door. Their mind is still there. So you have to draw their attention onto what you're doing and to who you are. So every salesperson has their own little style and their own personality. Make sure to let that shine at this point. Okay? This is super crucial. Let your character shine. Let your personality come out. It's going to make you more successful. So I'll give you guys a second to write that down. I know most of you guys are just screenshotting anyways. All right. Now, mention the neighbors you've worked with. Establish yourself as an authority. So if you're starting out and you don't have customers, guess what? I do. So let me know what your neighborhood is. Give me the cross streets and I'll pull up customers in the neighborhood that we have sold that you can actually mention. Okay. This will help you set and control the tone, the pace, and the attitude, and always respond to their response with positivity. I'll show you how we do that here momentarily. Now, step number 2. Now we've knocked on the door, we got their attention. It's like, okay, hold on. They want to know something. Who are you? So this is what I'm going to tell them, who I am, before they ever ask me the question. The pitch is designed to help you anticipate that objection. Who are you? Oh, great. So instead of making them ask me the question, I'm going to go ahead and answer it. It's not important to get their name at this phase. So if it works better with your style, not to grab their name until the end, that's fine. It doesn't work for me, right? I just want to get through my pitch and I want to do it and I'm super excited. It makes sense. For other folks, it doesn't work. All right. So do what works for you. You always give your first and your last name. It builds trust. And you always give the name of the company. And our name has solar in it, Titan Solar Power. So because that, we don't want to shy away from it. Other companies will teach you to not say the word solar. And if they ask if it's solar, to deny that it's solar. That's bad. Own it. You sell solar. It's awesome. Own it and move forward. And then you end with a yes or no question. So you're going to re-engage the customer and make sure that they're paying attention. This phase should only take you up to 10 seconds in order to get through this step. You guys will see all the steps here in a little bit. So the next thing that they want to know is like, okay, so you're Chris and you're with Titan. So what are you doing, right? Why are you knocking on my door? That's a great question. So instead of having them ask a question, as soon as I give that yes or no question and they tell me yes or no, I'm going to move on to my next step. I'm buying that next 10 seconds every time that I ask them a question. So I'm going to reference the neighbors again to get that social proof and give notoriety and notability that I'm here in the neighborhood and I know people. Now, know what you're doing. It's renewable energy. It's solar. Talk about it. Okay. Really briefly, get them excited. If they ask if it's solar, don't lie. Be excited. Tell them yes. Continue to the next and the rest of your step. Okay. Do not stop. This is going to help you build and create value and create interest. Okay. You need 2 concrete social proof examples, and I'll give you guys those here when we go over the pitch. And you ask them again if they've ever heard of this. It's a yes or no question. Remember, you're trying to control the tone and the pace and the attitude of the conversation. So we're going to get through this in about 10 seconds, but we're going to give a lot of information in a short period of time, but we got to make sure we re-engage them again with a yes or no question. Give you guys a second on that one. Now, the next thing that they want to know is, well, what's the deal? What's the catch, right? What do I get out of this? What do you get out of this? This is what they want to know next, right? So we're going to tell them. You know what I say? I actually say the word deal or catch. It makes it really easy for me to remember what step I'm on. It makes them realize, oh, he's actually going to tell me what the catch is about this thing. So they want to know what's in it for them and what's in it for you. It gives the appearance, you give them an appearance of an out with the word qualify. So I'm going to talk about the word qualify here in a minute when you guys see it in the pitch. And then you can give them another out. I will call you if the home doesn't qualify, so you're not waiting for me all day. Now, there are a lot of homes that do not qualify. We've actually had a record number of non-qualifying homes here in the last couple of weeks. Waco, Texas. The amount of trees that these customers refuse to cut back, we can't put solar on it. They're at like 20 and 30% offsets. with like a 12 kilowatt system for like 7,000 kilowatt hours. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's not a, it's a DNQ. It's not good for the customer. We're not going to sell it to them. Okay. So customers can not qualify for the system. So it's important that we do that. So then you mentioned that you're going to come back and teach them how to read the proposal. It makes it clear that you need them to be home. Okay. Don't hesitate. Create urgency. It's no cost, no obligation. We get time, you get info, and everyone in the neighborhood's doing it. It's just something that the neighborhood is doing, and so you should too, right? This is where we're transitioning, okay? We're not going to ask a yes or no question. This is where we ask different types of questions. Let me give you guys a second to write that down before I move on to the next step. I know I move fast. If you guys need me to slow down, just hop off mute and let me know. Yeah, these guys are setting up loud. All right. All right. It's a lot of appointments. Give you guys another couple seconds. Yeah, we're gonna get done with training just in time today. All right, so last thing is to transition to the appointment. This is step number 5. Okay. We do not ask yes or no questions anymore. It's an either or question. We just keep moving forward. So we're going to ask either or questions here instead of yes or no questions, because it's no longer about engaging them and making sure they're paying attention. It's about giving them options so we can come back and sit down to do the appointment. So have your phone out already. We're going to talk about a couple more of those rules here in a minute. But as soon as you finish stating the deal, there's no pause. Your transition is the actual question. What day works best for you? You look down at your phone. You give them 2 options. You look down at your phone. You avoid eye contact and animatedly get your finger ready to touch your screen and your tablet. I'm a goofball at the doors. I have a lot of fun doing it, right? So what day works better for you? And they know I'm about to punch something into my phone, right? It works. Then you ask another question, morning, afternoon, or evening. It's a funnel. Going to cast a wide net. We're going to narrow it down, right? Don't look up. Keep looking at your phone. Keep setting it in. Give 2 or 3 times. Great. Afternoon. Fantastic. I have a 1 o'clock and I have a 3:30. What works better for you? Still pointing, still ready to punch it in. What's the best email to send you my contact info and general information about the company? Don't look up. Keep your eyes down. Next one, like I said, I'm going to call you. If the home doesn't qualify, what's the best number? Yours or your spouse's? Don't you dare look up. You're right there. Okay. How do you spell your name? You're almost there. Keep your eyes down. Pretend it's Instagram. Pretend you saw something really cool and you have to watch the video. Just keep your eyes down. You're almost there. You're going to look up in just a second. You get the customer's name, you verify it, and now you look them dead in the eye. You smile big. Do me a favor, grab your electric bill while I send this invite out to you. Look back down at your phone and actually finish sending out the invite. Put in the last bit of information and then click save. It'll automatically send them a calendar invite. It'll automatically send them out an email for them to upload the bill just in case they didn't upload it with you right there. And you can move forward and go on to the next house. Okay. So let's talk about this for a second. Here's what we look like. So if you can't get the bill at the door, it's okay. You must get something from them. We can't just create a proposal out of thin air. So get some commitments from them. What's the highest bill that you pay throughout the year? What's the highest utility bill that you get? Oh, like $300. Okay. What's the lowest bill that you get throughout the year? Oh, like $100. How much would you say you pay on average based off of that? Like maybe 160, 170. Perfect. You put that information into the app and you tell them this simply, I'll get the qualification started. And that way you can email it to me or upload it through the email I just sent later. Okay, so just get me a copy of that bill later. If they don't get it to you, it's fine. You'll get it when you go back for the appointment. Don't call and harass the customer. They're going to end up canceling. We can generate a proposal based off this information, but it's not one that you're going to be allowed to show the customers until you get actual usage from their utility bill. Here's the pitch. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I did it. Okay. So, hey, don't mean to bug you. I'm sure the neighbors told you would be stopping by with Titan, right? Do you know Bob and do you know Mary right over there? Yeah. No, perfect. Well, they do. Well, I'm Chris Tricole. I'm with Titan Solar Power. They're the company that's doing the renewable energy stuff for the neighborhood. You've heard of us, right? No? Well, that's great. It's exactly why I stopped by. So there are a couple of folks that we've been helping out with renewable energy program in your neighborhood. We've been out here for the last couple of weeks. Some folks have been getting up to like $100 off their electric bills. Other folks have been getting between like $5,000 to $10,000 back in tax credits. Have you heard of how these programs work before? No? Awesome. Well, here's the catch. Not all homes qualify. Okay. So we're checking to see which homes do by taking a picture of the graph that's on your electric bill right there. So there's no obligation to get solar or anything like that by getting to see if it qualifies. I'm going to send it to my consultants. Okay. If the home does qualify, then I'm going to come back. I'm going to teach you how to read this thing. If it doesn't qualify, then I'm going to call you so you're not sitting around waiting for me all day. So which day works best for you? Tomorrow or the day after? Morning, afternoon, or evening? 2 or 3, right? And you guys go through. A copy of this is available inside of your guys' Sunbase, the exact pitch with the actual steps itself. Okay. Now, pro tip, body stance and posture are important. Stand with your body slightly sideways so the customer can see your screen and watch as you go through your steps. They can see that you're actually putting them into the system. Don't put your hands in your pocket or behind your back. It gives the appearance that you're hiding something. All right. You don't want to give that appearance. Be animated with your gestures to keep attention and to seem entertaining. Even if you're a bony type of person, you can seem entertaining by throwing your hands around like crazy. Take 3 steps back from the door when they answer it to allow some space. And don't peek through the windows. Don't be a creep. It's super creepy. Okay, just don't do it. If there's a window there, don't look through it. Just turn your body around, wave at the neighbors as they pass by, finish up that note from the last house, and let them engage you. That way you can see where their energy level is so you don't freak them out when they first answer the door. Okay. I always turn around. I want them to say, can I help you? I want to hear how their attitude is so I know how to engage them. Okay. Now, voice, tone, and pace. Create confidence in what you say with the right tone. Start sentences with the low tones and ending with high tones creates uncertainty in your voice, makes it sound like you're asking questions. Starting with high tones and ending with low tones helps display confidence in what you're saying, and it helps build enthusiasm naturally. Slow and deliberate with a smile. Know what you're going to say. So you guys heard my pitch before, not all homes qualify. I slow down at certain points when I really want to drive a point home to the customer. So that's what you guys want to do there. Then, of course, have the right mentality. Work the hours. Positive attitudes are huge. Know your goals, and it doesn't happen until it happens. That is the biggest pro tip I can give you. It doesn't happen until it happens. Every single month, you'll end up going back to a 1 out of 6 when you're new. It's going to happen. That's okay. But if you didn't put in the hours, you didn't work the hours, and you didn't have goals, it's going to be really hard to get to that end point at the end of the month. All right. So before we move on to that next step, who's got questions for me? That was a lot of information in a short period of time. What questions do we have about what we've covered so far?
It was a lot of info. Do we have access to this content after today's
Yes.
stream? Okay.
So if you go to your Sunbase, you can actually grab it right then and there. Okay.
In the meantime, could I think it's 2 slides before this one, I think it was the pitch, not
Yeah.
before the pitch. Can I get can I capture the information on that?
Yeah.
No, before that, go. I think it's 2 before that one. Go next one. That one. Just want to grab that.
Yeah.
Let's screenshot it.
So did you get your company email real quick? Did you get your company email open?
I did not know.
Okay. So you should have something from Google Workspace. When you log in, you'll have access to your Sunbase, and then
Okay.
I'll show you guys how to access that again.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, do we have another question?
That was it.
All right. Cool. So let's get going. Now, I want you guys to take all your sales training you've ever had about objection handling, crumple it up, and throw it away and burn it. It doesn't exist anymore. Okay. Here's the reason why. If you try to take that same training and it's still taught to this day, even in door-to-door, and it's absolute garbage on door-to-door, it's not going to help you set appointments. Most of the things that people say nowadays, they're statements. They just want to be heard. If you hear something like, oh, I don't have time, people take that as an objection, and that's just a statement. There's really nothing there telling you no, right? So we've come up with a simple 3-step solution to overcoming objections at the door, and it works like 80% of the time. So step number 1 is A, agree. Okay, so we're going to be aiming through all of our objections. So we're going to agree. So what do we mean? Okay, when somebody says something to you negative, they expect you to respond in kind. We don't. We simply do not respond in kind to what the customer said. We are going to shut their mouths and open their ears. When somebody tells you, I don't have any time, and you respond, that's great, it's going to shut them up. What? You just told me that's great that I don't have time? That's the response that we want. If we could shut their mouth and open their ears more often, you're going to make a heck of a lot more sales. So what if they tell you, my spouse isn't home? That's perfect. Already talked to somebody. Perfect, great, fantastic. So glad you said that. I don't qualify. Perfect, great, fantastic. So glad you said that. You say it with enthusiasm. You can't lose. Watch people's reactions when they tell you something like this. They're expecting to have an argument with you. They're expecting you to be aggressive. You're wrong. You do have time for this because of this. No, I don't care. That's great. Now, they gave it to us, but what do we do with it? We ignore it. Doesn't mean it's a statement. Doesn't mean anything. Okay. Again, we have to be assertive, not be aggressive. Okay. You don't want to waste their time. You don't want to waste yours because it's not a real objection. They don't have any information yet to give you an objection, right? So no time. Perfect. Me neither. Got to talk to the rest of the neighbors. Well, that's simple enough. Spouse isn't home. Great. I'm actually coming back to talk to both of you. Already talked to somebody. So glad you said that. I don't qualify. Fantastic. Guys, you guys starting to see a little theme here? Super simple. The less you say, the better. My favorite one is no time. Perfect. Me neither. I got to talk to the rest of your neighbors. And then I'm going to do the next step, which is super simple. Move forward through your step. Whatever step they stopped you in, it doesn't matter. You pick back up where you left off. If they stopped you from transition from step 2 to step 3, you start back at step 3 after you overcome it. If it's on the transition to the appointment, that's where most of them are. Great, that's fine. I don't have time. Perfect. Me neither. I got to talk to the rest of the neighbors. So what day works better for you then? Today or tomorrow? My spouse isn't home. Great. I actually got to talk to both of you. So what day is better for both of you, today or tomorrow? Right? You guys starting to see a little bit. It's super simple. It's the simplest way to ever overcome an objection. And everybody who tries it, who doesn't go through this training, actually fails at it, because what they're not understanding is that you could say things, but you can say them wrong. It doesn't matter what you say. It matters how you say things. We all have friends, and we all call our friends certain things that we wouldn't typically call most of the other people that we know, right? Why? Because of how we say it to them. If I went up to my friends and I know they did something stupid, oh, F you, bro, right? It's not going to be a big deal. If I looked him dead in the eye, straight-eyed, F you, he's going to feel like he's going to be ready to fight, right? You might go through this training, but if you don't have the right attitude behind it, it's never going to work. I can promise you that. I watch it and I laugh because there's companies who are trying to steal this every single day, but they have the ingredients, but they don't have the recipe. You got to have the right attitude. It's about how you say this stuff. If somebody tells you they're not interested and you just perfect, you sound sarcastic, you sound like an asshole, right? But if you look them dead in the eye, that's perfect. And you're excited about what they just said, you're going to shut their mouths, you're going to open their ears, and they're actually going to want to listen to the next thing that you have to say. You now became entertainment for them. Like dance, clown. And then you get to come back and sit down with them because they enjoyed your company. I'm so good with doing that. And you guys will start seeing that when you guys get out there and start doing it for yourselves. So important reminders, if the customer does not have an electric bill on them, and let's say they have it on the app, they can use that. You cannot use your phone to pull up their utility information. You cannot use their phone to log into their accounts. Under any circumstances, you cannot, should not, and would not ever get the customer's passwords for anything. is a liability thing for you. You guys are independent contractors. It doesn't fall back on us. It falls back on you. Do not get a customer password ever. Super simple. I don't need to touch on that one anymore. We're going to start going over consultative sales tomorrow. We're going to right at 6 o'clock like I planned. I want to go over a couple things. A couple things on Sunbase and make sure that everybody has access to their portals before we log off for the night. So if you haven't, if you joined on late and you haven't checked your email yet, check your personal email to see if you got an email from Google Workspace and go set up your password for your work email.
Chris, did you say 6 o'clock tomorrow, not 6:30?
It's still 6:30.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still
Just
gonna be the
making
same
sure.
time. So 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. So Mountain Standard is gonna be 4:30, Central's 5:30, and East is 6:30.
Okay.
So let me get this open. So make sure you guys log into that. I want to make sure everybody has access into their portals before we let you guys go. Let's see, who's do I want to use this time?
I have access, Chris.
Perfect. So now you guys should have an email from Jared for your Sunbase login. Hop in there and you guys can log in. You guys can change your passwords. There's a couple things you guys have to do tonight. If you haven't uploaded your profile picture and updated all your information on your TitanSPP.com for your digital business card, go ahead and do that. It's going to really be the only time you're ever going to log into that. The only time you're ever going to log into that is when you guys need to update your digital business card information, like if your phone number changes, if you build a YouTube channel that you want people to follow on there, that's for your digital business card, and it's only for that. Everything else is going to be right here inside of Sunbase. And for a temporary time, you guys will have solo. I'm not going to send those logins yet because you don't need them until Saturday. Okay. So when you log into Sunbase, this is your guys' app. Okay. This is on the browser. The app itself is going to have a lot less information, right? So just to go back through it, a couple things you guys need to do is, and if it gives you problems updating your profile picture, just email it to me and I'll upload it for you. Sometimes I have to reformat them. It's touchy. But you can upload all your information. So if you go to user profile, you can put in your information, you can change your password, put in your city, state, all that good stuff. Okay. Upload a profile picture. The other thing that you're going to want to do is you could choose a picture too. It's a little avatar up there. Your customers will never see it. But Christina, I'm going to make you do Wonder Woman. That looks like fun. All right. Just like some little fun for you and for everybody else to see. What I want you guys to do tonight is upload your profile pictures, make sure everything's good to go there. Make sure that your profile pictures and everything is updated inside of your TitanSPP.com portal. But you have to integrate your company email and your company calendar. That's your first letter of your first name, full last name at TitanSPP.com Gmail. You guys can log into the Gmail app with that, with the password you guys just set. You're going to go into the top bubble up here where it says Christina, your name will be there. You click on integrations, you'll see connect an email account, and you can connect your email and you can connect your calendar. So that way, every single time that you set an appointment on Sunbase, it'll automatically push to your Google Calendar for work. This is work emails only. Do not put your personal information on this, okay? That's for FCC compliance. You don't want to be hit with that one. Last thing we want is for communications to personal information for customers and private information to be pushed out. Okay. So you go to the bubble, click integrations, connect an email account, and then your calendar. It's going to be your work email. Again, it's just a Google email, so you can log into Google just like you would anything else. You guys have access to your calendars through that Google email. Okay. So you go to calendar.google.com and you guys can always see your work calendar there. You can put it on your phones, same way you would any other email on your phone and any other calendar. You have the same access through Google because it's just a Google email with the Titan SPP chain at the end. The support and help section, click on references. Click on sales materials and then scripts. Click on the 5 steps to success. Here you go. You guys got the break in preoccupation. Here's your 5 steps. Here's the tips. Here's mentality and rules. And then you have the actual pitch itself. Okay. You guys have the 99 sales clinchers. Excuse me. The dirty dozen, the lead qualifying scripts. You guys can go back into approved videos. So check these out. These are pretty cool. So the SPP Chrome logo, this is for the certification. Right. When you guys are getting certified, when you guys get certified, use that one. Show guys, I'm certified, and that's a cool video to do, right? But these are going to be the ones you use most often. Are going to be like this one. I like this one a lot. It's one of my favorites. You guys can use these videos for your social media. Where's another really cool one? Oh, this one's a cool one too. So yeah, we give you guys some really good production videos to use for your social media to get people to pay attention. Okay, so all those are accessible to you guys right in your Sunbase under the approved video section. If you want the funnels, you can go to approved ads. Here's your funnels. You got creating an ad script, gives you where you're going and what you're doing, your call to actions. And then you have done for you funnels. So these ones are pretty cool because you have like your, this is actually one of my favorites. It's not gonna let me copy paste it. Nope. So I want to click part of it. You're gonna have to download it in order to be able to click it, right? But we have a calculator, okay? So they can calculate their savings. We have sample ads that you guys can use, okay? A bunch of them. All right, 4 reasons why you shouldn't go solar. Put your state, right? So if you don't own your roof, you're moving in less than 24 months. Over 80% of homeowners go solar for financial gain. So if you have less than $59 electric bill, right? So these are all reasons why you shouldn't go solar. I'm just a bill ad. This is one of our most popular ones. It works really well. Ooh, I got to fix that link. There we go. And then solar tax credit expiring soon. So, ooh, they got a mess up in that one. So it should say 26% there. So just keep an eye out for that. I'll get that replaced. I'm going to email tech. Then you got your videos here as well. Okay. So if you guys want to look at the incentive again, so just in case somebody missed the incentive, here we go. And there's other training videos in here you guys will have. We'll have more training videos in here for you guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I love when we end to get to end a little bit early. Leaves time for questions. So anybody got anything for me? Any questions we need to get answered before we take off?
So I'm supposed to receive an email from who's the sender?
From Jared in your work email. So once you open your work email, should be one of the only emails that you have in there, or the only one.
Okay. I was expecting it in the email I started everything with.
Your personal email will be, that's what we sent you, a Google Workspace invite.
Yeah, I never received that.
All right, let me resend it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know where he's been. I was getting very worried. There's essentially say the mystery of the television has been solved. It was given to the Siemens mission.
And the personal email. Let me see. The feedback email.
That's the one.
All right, cool. So I'm just gonna go ahead and reset your password. Email password. All right, so you guys are gonna go into your company emails tonight, or your company, your business credit card, your digital business card. Sorry, your digital business card on the Titan SPP website, and change your so under privacy, just change the email to your company email now. Okay, that way your personal email isn't showing on there anymore, and then they'll go live so people can actually see them, so somebody can search for you. Okay. So Leighton, go ahead and check your email, see if that went through.
I just received it.
Cool. So set your password, and then you'll have in there an email from Jared.
Okay. Okay, I'll take care of it.
Awesome.
All right.
And then you have access to everything in there. Other than that, yeah, change your guys' company emails on your card. Make sure your profiles are updated with your picture. And that's it for the night. Hope you guys have a fantastic night. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. All right.
See you, Chris.